All right, what's going on, people? I just want to make a quick video that's pretty much piggybacking off of the video that Ricky Manor did on the Walter Wallace Jr. Shooting. Um, and I'm gonna try to pick apart and do a comparison. And there's some things that I'm gonna point out that shows a bit of a contradiction in regards to that situation. Ricky Manor, pretty much I follow him because he's one of the few people that have a platform. No, he's not big. Neither am I. I just do this, you know, basically as a therapeutic outlet. Um, for him, he pretty much covers a lot of things that I alone tend to look at from a particular perspective, and me and pretty much share the same ideas or ideology behind certain things in this country or in the world, so to speak. And we are pretty much on the same page when it comes to certain things that he discussed or I point out. Um, in this case, I'm gonna piggyback off of the Walter Wallace Jr. shooting, and I didn't catch his live stream, but I noticed in some of the comment section, a lot of people were trying to go against the cops, and some people agreed with Ricky Manor and how the cops handled um, that situation in regards to the shooting. Now, my opinion is based on that may stray away from being completely in agreement, but I'm not in complete disagreement either. And I'm gonna give validation to that with an example alongside with this incident, which will point out the contradiction as to why people are, I guess, angry at the situation that took place and want to call it like a racial incident, which I feel is an over exaggerated conclusion to jump to. But regardless, here we are. Um, in regards to police responding to calls that regards to a subject that is dealing with mental illness, it's a touchy subject to discuss because now there's an awareness that's been put out there that you know pretty much what the outcome, I don't want to say outcome, but you know what what the situation is that you're going into as an officer. You know you're not dealing with a sound mind individual. You're dealing with somebody that's not all together upstairs. So with that tidbit of information upon answering a call or responding to a call, in my opinion, there's a way to handle those circumstances differently from aside from when you're dealing with a subject that you know have a understanding about their behavior, pretty much. But aside from that, I guess the controversy behind the shooting is that a lot of people are looking at it as being racially motivated. Thus, here comes the riots, here come the protesting, this, that, and everything else. Okay, so if that's where the energy is going to be applied to say, here we go with another officer involved shooting against a person who was black, okay, well, let's look at the situation and let's look at the facts presented. You have a subject that is coming at an officer. He has a weapon in hand. And the argument could be whether or not could they have used different tactics to subdue the subject without it becoming a fatal incident. And we can argue that. Um, but the difference between that scenario where I have issues in regards to other videos that I make in regards to officers shooting unarmed people or people that are running away from officers, not running towards the officers, and they're getting fatally shot. There's a difference There's a difference that you can see plain as day. Now, we're all in discussion now about the Walter Wallace Jr. incident. Okay. So here's my rebuttal to that. There was also, not too long ago, another officer involved shooting that took place in Bossier, Louisiana, with a white woman and a black officer. This woman was at this hotel, I forget the name of it, and she was behind the reception desk on the phone, talking fast and crazy, while having a pair of scissors in her hand. Officer responding was Officer Patrick Edmonds Jr., I believe. Her name in the subject, or the individual, her name was Shannon Rupert. She was 45. Anyway, he responds to the call about this woman who was obviously not supposed to be where she was at. She made threatening gestures towards the officer. Was calling him all sorts of derogatory names due to the fact that he was black. He told her, gave her lawful commands and orders to put the scissors down, otherwise he was going to shoot her. Actually, he said he was going to shoot to kill. She came around the desk, was coming at him in a threatening manner, and he dropped her. She did a front somersault, grunted, and from that grunt, in my opinion, the way it sounded, that was her last breath and her life just leaving her body. Now, this was a black officer. This was a white woman. Where was the outrage in that? Where was the protest and the rioting, and where was the racial factor to be thrown and tossed into that scenario? There wasn't any. Now, these are two examples side by side. And when you have to start questioning the agenda or the purpose behind certain things, when it's a clear-cut case, okay, you can sit back and argue semantics all day, whatever. When it's controversial and you have to question certain things and you like, that didn't seem too justifiable to me. Okay, then it's understanding when there's a need or a call to action of things that need to be changed as far as policy goes and things of that nature. But when you have certain incidences that you could argue behind the scenes and have your opinions about it, but it doesn't necessarily require an uproar, because not every incident needs to have that kind of attention. But regardless, here we are. But when you have other examples that you can rebuttal to validate why there isn't a need for such an uproar if the scales aren't balanced, I'm just saying. So, yeah, there is a lot of contradiction when it comes to like pointing out police interactions when you want to argue on behalf of the blacks and their outrage in regards to white folks and their silence or their lack thereof in regards to being outspoken. It's been pointed out to me many a times that, there's been countless incidences where white people get killed by officers, but you don't see them protesting, you don't see them rioting, and you don't see them do this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. Okay, how they handle things is how they handle things. How black people handle things is how they handle things. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Why it's like that? I don't know. So Some people could say, hey, maybe white people are complicit to how police fucked them off, whereas black people are less tolerable of that. Who knows? I mean, that's just one way of looking at it. I could be wrong. I don't have the answer to that per se because nobody has really come out and spoke about it. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Shout out to Ricky Man and my boy. Keep doing what you're doing. Um, till next time, next video. Peace.